constitute the AGM. And I can confirm, President, that the required minimum quorum has been met, both online.
Toby, the Senior Counsel, and I also would like to thank the Chair for coming here to honor this AGM and to remark on behalf of the University Council the convocation of Walter Sisulu appreciates your presence. Your presence here shows respect for the proceedings of this nature and your regard for convocation matters, particularly given the fact that you yourself are an alumni of this university. We thank you for your presence. I should also like to acknowledge Ms. Jamzashe for attending this particular AGM. Ms. Jamzashe is also an alumnus of this university. Here, she's a member of our University Council, will represent the Vice Chancellor and remark to the extent, therefore, that all the issues that we would wish to raise with the Vice Chancellor as the leader of our university can be raised with the Registrar, and that Chancellor and to the extent, therefore, that we wish to raise with the Vice Chancellor as the leader of our university can be raised with the Registrar, and that the interactions with the Registrar would be taken as interactions with the Vice Chancellor of the university. I'm not aware of those regs that you are the acting Vice Chancellor. Come through the teams, and we thank you for joining this session. I would also like to encourage you to participate today in the discussions and proceedings. So, Walter Sisulu University convocation, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to begin today's opening remark. When he died, I believe it is fair to say that for a moment, if not for a very long time, hope also died in the heart of his family. When he died, I believe it is fair to say that for a moment, if not for a very long time, hope also died, and the heart of his family was wrecked, who awaited to hear his voice and text messages are now naturally in great sorrow. These two tragedies, ladies and gentlemen, were preceded by others over the last 2 years, and text messages great sorrow. These two tragedies, ladies and gentlemen, were preceded by others over the last 2 years in our alma mater, particularly during the time in which we were the. Last year, a student suffered the careless, if not violently, at the hands of a security company in our university campus in Butterworth. He died in the silent cold of the night and was never to be seen again by his family. Another student died. In souls, rest in peace, and may God comfort the families that have lost their loved ones, and may justice be done with speed and firmness. We may be seated. You will agree with me that time flies like the wind through the passages and hallways. You will agree with me that time flies like the wind through the passages and hallways of our beloved institution, because barely 3 years ago, you elected us in this position, and you elected us as this executive in this very. And it seemed to me like we would be an executive forever. but it was not to be, because here we are today, ready to account for the work we have done over the years. A chairperson of council, some of my friends suggested to me a very naughty idea. They suggested, they whispered what I would call a devilish temptation that I should not call this AGM. They argued that I was the president and that I had the power to call or delay this AGM. They said I could delay it by a month or by 2 or by 3 until it is forever. I was tempted for a while to accede to this temptation. You know, when the devil whispers such ideas of power, we hardly listen to reason. But they were not saying so because they benefited anything from our term of office, those friends of mine. Indeed, they were joking, and I didn't take their joke seriously. That's why we are here today. As you all know, the baton was handed over to us by Advocate Ngaitobi, the senior counsel, who is himself the chair of council, who is a giant amongst us and is a man of great stature that towers above all of us like a multi-storied building. And you know that his resume shines bright like a beacon. It lights up the path for the rest of us as the convocation members, because he is our alumni and a convocation member. He's a giant that stood tall in the International Criminal Court against the genocidal Israel government that caused misery to the people of Gaza in the Middle East, in Palestine. But most importantly, apart from all of the things I've counted, the chairperson, Advocate Ngaitobi, is our chairperson. He's not our lawyer. And so we would like to say that we are proud of him. Of course, he's not the only giant amongst us. Wsu has a long list of men and women whose stature go beyond ours. They are giants in their own field. The nation knows them better than it knows some of us. I'm thinking here of Justice Meyer, who is the Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court of South Africa. I'm thinking of Justice Madlanga, Justice Chafta, who is now retired. These are some of the legal stars who light up the South African judiciary. In the medical fraternity, we have models of excellence also, such as Dr. Wsu Agm, who is our very own alumnus. They make us very proud, and they have had a profound impact on the health sector. Dr. Gilata, as an example, became the youngest neurosurgeon in South Africa, and her work is a testament of the greatness that Walter Sisulu University nurtures. She got here with a complex geography and culture, different staff profiles, and varied systems. We have a history not just of the making of apartheid, but a history in which we have become who we are today, the specialists we have become, the lawyers we have become, the medical doctors, the academic doctors, the teachers, the businessmen, the businesswomen, the technocrats and bureaucrats we have become in government, in industry, in different organizations, whether they are political. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we must be proud of who we are, who we have become, and who we are yet to become, particularly in relation to the young alumni of this university. Our future is as bright as our university is resilient and progressive. So I remind you again, the Vice-Chancellor and her management team, for decisively implementing this strategy. We have seen progressive changes happen before our eyes in this university. We have seen how our university has become a construction site, building new buildings, refurbishing old ones, installing Wi-Fi at residences and on campus, and building smart classrooms and goods, installing Wi-Fi at residences and on campus, and building smart classrooms students can be comfortably engaged in lectures with their lecturers. Well, the staff profile has improved also, and the research outputs have dramatically improved, which means more money should be coming into the university as a consequence of publications. These are things that we should be proud of. These are things that should make us feel good about being associated with this university. For the first time, this university participated in the global rankings. It has received the top 5 spot. It is one of the top 5. It is in the top 5. It is the 5th in terms of impact. And I'm not talking here about just teaching. I'm not talking here about just research. I'm talking about the effect it has on the lives of the community, the sustainable effect it has in terms of creating graduates that are able to go out there in society to change the world. So this is a great achievement. And we know WSU indeed as a university with impact on real people, on real lives, on real communities, from bad socioeconomic circumstances that they did not create on their own. But as we celebrate, let's be mindful that a lot still needs to be done in our university to keep up with the changing world. Indeed, the world in which WSU and its convocation lives is a changing world, ladies and gentlemen. And it is changing beneath our feet. Kufana notsalo kwemethu ume ngenyawo. Luhlobo elilizwe lethu lichintsha ngalo. It's engulfed this world in a prolonged, let's call it stupid wars that should never have happened. The wars between Palestine and Israel, the military outpost of the United States, the wars between Israel and Iran, weakness and geographical spatial location. Convocation in the university can contribute positively to shaping this changing phenomenon in sciences and technology. And this phenomenon I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is artificial intelligence, AI for short. AI has already changed the world. It is also changing the world, and it will continue to dramatically change the way we live our lives. Within seconds, it sifts through and organizes and communicates to us information taken from raw data, and it allows us to make decisions within seconds, within minutes, within days, within months, within years, that would have taken us years to take. In the academy, for example, AI has made doing research easy, teaching and learning much easier and more fun. The idea that a PhD can take 3 years is going to be completely irrelevant, because in the era in which we live, you don't need 3 years to actually do a PhD when you have AI tools to sift through for you in seconds what you would have sifted through in 3 years. And so the world is indeed changing, but the academy has not yet changed with this world. And that's the fundamental problem. So AI can help us do these things. So we've got AI tutors, AI tutor agents. I saw with the IEC today, Chairman, that there's an AI tutor that can answer my questions about elections. If I ask the AI, will the elections be stolen? What will the AI say? I am not equipped to answer those questions. You have to contact the Chief Electoral Officer. So AI can do all sorts of those things. So what we need today, we are students of the future. The future is today. So we need AI-attuned lecturers and students that should be ready and be able to function within this changing space. In the medical profession, we see the same fundamental changes taking place. The doctors can use AI to make diagnoses that would have taken days. They can do this, they can scan people to find out if they've got cancer, even when these things are at their first stage of its development, as a disease. So this is what AI is capable of doing even in the medical sector. In fact, experts in the AI predict that AI will diagnose things at their first stage of its development, as a disease. So this is what AI is capable of doing even in the medical sector. In fact, experts in the AI predict that AI will diagnose cancer at stage 1 pretty quickly and will save a lot of lives. Indeed, machines have become quicker to learn from data than we can. They are smarter than us, in fact, in a lot of ways, particularly because it takes time for us to process information, but it takes them seconds. And so it is able to solve problems quicker at a lesser cost. And experts such as George Hinton, who is considered the father of AI, are saying that AI tools now have what they call a quasi-conscious, full conscience and conscience and consciousness. Zenze khazishota ngesazela ukwenzela uba zingenziwa ii-robots zihambe zibulala abantu estratweni zingena ethics, zingena morals. So we have a role to shape the institutional conversation as convocation. We have a role to shape the institutional conversation on AI and on the need for curriculum and pedagogic shifts in the classrooms, not just to keep up with the changes, but to lead the change as the university. We are better placed as convocation because we come from the real world where the changes, the fundamental shifts are happening. And so we have the experiences of knowing how the HR space has changed, how the management space has changed, how the public management space has changed, how we can use AI tools to save money from the bureaucracies of government because we work from government. And so we have that type of knowledge as we speak. So we are better placed to do these things as convocation in the world that is changing. And so these changes that are happening in the mining sector, in the financial sector, in the services sector, in the education sector, and so on. So these fundamental changes taking place, ladies and gentlemen, require us as convocation to we know sector the mining sector because the routinized kind of work is no longer needed. This calls to question what it is that is being produced by universities to prepare people to function and participate in that world. As a consequence of AI over the past decade, we've seen this in the financial sector. Nobody needs a teller anymore. Nobody needs an ATM anymore. Nobody needs, even a person sitting in the hospitality industry, nobody will need them anymore. The robots will do this job. And so it is our job to think beyond the qualifications that the university is offering and contribute to that debate. You know, and as we know, as a consequence, millions will also be lost in the future. In fact, Jeffrey Hinton has suggested in the next 24 months, all routinized jobs in the global West will be lost. It is our job to think beyond qualification approved. If the university today is trying to get a qualification approved, by the time the qualification approved, it may be irrelevant in the world. If